Do they know that the deepest truth lies hidden in plain sight, encapsulated in the sacred map of their own flesh, waiting to be released by ancient wisdom? What if I revealed to them that the master switch capable of calming the storms of the mind, dispelling the ceaseless vortex of anxiety, and restoring the vital flow in 100 different ways, is guarded in a tiny point on their wrist, a portal known to the immortals of Taoism? Pause for a moment the torrent of your existence. Feel your pulse, that ceaseless rhythmic melody that is the manifestation of your spirit. Today, we will transcend the superficial perception of biology to delve into arcane anatomy, into the understanding of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, where the body is not merely matter, but a vibrational temple, a microcosm aligned with the cosmic ether. We are about to lift the veil that conceals point PC6, the venerable Neiguan, the inner gate. This is not merely a pressure point, it is the master key, the lock that safeguards serenity. The ancients called it the guardian of the pericardium, the meridian that serves as minister and protector of the heart, which they revered as the emperor, the immaculate seat of our Shen, the conscious spirit. When the Shen is disturbed, whether by chronic fear, stress, or dense emotions, the pericardium, as a faithful servant, absorbs the impact. And it is precisely here at PC6 that we have the ability to intervene in this sacred dialogue, to command the guardian to cease its struggle and allow peace to return to the throne. This knowledge is an inheritance, a legacy of wisdom that teaches that healing doesn't come from outside, but rather is created through an internal alchemy by activating the codes that nature has inscribed within us. If until now you have felt that anxiety is an unstoppable force, a tide you cannot contain, prepare yourselves. Today, I will give you the anchor. You will discover how to activate this point, located with the precision of 3 fingers below the transverse crease of the wrist, navigating between the palmar tendons, and how this action, so simple yet so profound, can calm nervous palpitations, silence the nausea that speaks of stagnant Qi, and restore that lost dialogue between the mind, the Yi, and the heart, the Shen. PC6 is Yi, fundamentally, the bridge we need to return to coherence. In the coming minutes, we will explore the spiritual dimension that makes Neiguan a portal. You will understand why the masters used it as an energetic refuge during meditative practices, a point of support to strengthen the protective field and dispel the mists that obscure inner vision. We will reveal how this point not only alleviates the motion sickness of the physical journey, but also existential dizziness, returning us to a stable center, to the awareness that we possess an inner pharmacy, infinitely more powerful than any external remedy. We will see how this modest inner gateway is capable of harmonizing the flow of Qi, dismantling the emotional knots that result in insomnia, and restoring the essential connection between the human and the divine. This is a path that demands commitment and resonance. If you feel this truth resonate deep within you, if the call to awaken your body's latent powers is an urgency you cannot ignore, then it is time to seal our pact of knowledge. The transmission of wisdom is not a passive act. It requires clear intention and energetic resonance for the message to spread and take firm root in the collective fabric of consciousness. Before we map the exact location of this inner gate and unveil its activation ritual, I call upon you to declare your intention. If the search for inner truth, if the promise of healing 100 afflictions using only the ancestral wisdom placed in your hands illuminates your path, then seal this agreement of transcendence. First, in an act of vibrational attunement, offer your appreciation and recognition of this knowledge by clicking the like button, thus ensuring that this light finds other thirsty seekers. Second, to formally join this fellowship of wisdom that explores the mysteries of body and spirit, you must subscribe to this channel right now, committing to receive the revelations that the cosmos holds for us. And finally, as an unbreakable decree of your will, as confirmation of your awakening and your commitment to the profound truth. I demand that you write in the comments, with the greatest conviction of your soul, the powerful affirmation, "I seek the truth." Let this affirmation be the first step on your journey toward mastering personal alchemy. The threshold we cross together into the ancient secret of Point PC6, the beacon of light that will guide us through the subtle anatomy of healing. Prepare to activate your inner guardian. The time of revelation has arrived. Point PC6, known in the arcane canon of traditional Chinese medicine as Neiguan, is not merely a coordinate on the somatic map. It is Qi in its deepest essence, the inner gate or the guardian of the interior. Its strategic location on the pericardium meridian, the pericardium, Xinbao, endows it with supreme authority over the emotional sphere and the energetic circulation that protects the emperor, the heart, Shen. The ancient masters, in their cryptic texts forbidden to the common people, designated it as the direct custodian of the Shen, the spirit that resides in the blood plasma and manifests through the mind. To understand PC6 is to understand that illness is not merely a tissue dysfunction, but an invasion of the inner sanctuary. This point acts as an alchemical seal, ensuring that emotional impurities, repressed anger, crystallized fear, stagnant sadness, do not infiltrate the crystal chamber where the spirit dwells in tranquility. It is the lock that maintains vibrational integrity, the last bastion against the chaos that arises both from the outside and from the depths of our own turbulent unconscious. By activating it, we not only press on skin and muscle, but we also touch the very spring that regulates the psychic tide, forcing the perverse qi to retreat before it corrupts the most precious jewel of our being, mental clarity and inner peace. The key to overcoming the 100 diseases lies in restoring this sacred barrier, allowing our true essence to manifest without distortion, raising our frequency. When ancient wisdom proclaims Neiguan as the key to 100 diseases, it is not referring to a superficial panacea, but rather to its mastery over the core mechanisms of disharmony and primordial imbalance. Its power lies in its ability to harmonize the triple burner, Sanjiao, that vast and omnipresent energy structure that manages the distribution of fluids and internal heat throughout the body's 3 major compartments. A dysfunction in the Sanjiao leads to stagnation and a reversal of the normal flow of qi, especially an imbalance between the upper and lower burners. PC6 is the great pacifier of this unruly qi, particularly stomach qi that rises erroneously, a phenomenon known in the texts as rising fire, causing nausea, vomiting, reflux, and dizziness, symptoms that symbolize the individual's inability to digest and assimilate reality or strong emotions, resulting in the expulsion of what life presents. By releasing stagnant qi in the chest, Neiguan opens the diaphragm, facilitating deep breathing and restoring the vertical axis of being, the central pillar of our existence. Philosophically, as qi descends, it anchors the spirit that tends to float in the head due to excessive worry, the fire of the heart. A state that traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, directly associates with anxiety, chronic insomnia, and the sense of panic that corrodes the modern soul. It is the master switch that compels energy to flow toward the center, regenerating the earth and calming the runaway fire. Inner alchemy views Neiguan as the crucible where defensive energy, Wei Qi, and nurturing energy, Ying Qi, must be reconciled to operate in perfect synchronicity. Symbolically, it is the portal that decides which external influences, which pathogenic winds, from extreme weather fluctuations to destructive criticism or disturbing news, are permitted to penetrate the person's vital core. Activating PC6 is, therefore, a rite of purification and fortification that seals the energetic boundaries. In I Ching terms, PC6 represents the point of equilibrium between heaven the mind, the ethereal, and earth, the body, the material, within the individual's microcosm, a nexus where yin and yang meet to negotiate peace and constant flow. The transmutation promoted by this point is fundamental. It takes perverse energy, Jie Qi, the energetic manifestation of unprocessed trauma or chronic tension, and redirects it, compelling it to be integrated or safely expelled without karmic residue. Without this firm gateway, the heart is vulnerable to sudden emotional shocks, leading to a collapse of will and disorganization of conscious thought. When we meditate on this point, we are actively exercising sovereignty over our inner realm, ensuring that only what serves the evolutionary purpose and expansion of consciousness can cross the threshold of the pericardium. This act of conscious pressure is a declaration that the guardian has awakened and will no longer permit subtle invasions of the psyche. Classical texts, such as the 7 Jade Tablets, which only the most highly skilled Taoist adepts could decipher in their mountain retreats, extol Neiguan not only for its ability to treat physical pain, particularly migraine headaches and chest tightness exacerbated by tension, but also for its vital role in protecting against the internal wind, an esoteric concept encompassing everything from spasms and convulsions to the dreaded stroke. The internal wind represents chaotic and uncontrolled movement within the body, a loss of grounding that threatens to dismantle the structure of being and dissolve identity. For Taoist healers, PC6 was essential in longevity practices, acting as a regulator of blood flow to the brain and upper limbs, ensuring that the circulation of qi was smooth and rhythmic, like the breath of a sleeping dragon, rising and falling majestically. Its application historically required extremely focused intention. The needle or mechanical pressure alone was insufficient, but rather the precise transfer of the healer's wi, mental intention to the point, subtly opening the gateway. In secret schools, PC6 was used to induce deep meditative states, calming the Shen sufficiently to facilitate communication with higher planes of consciousness and the Akashic records, demonstrating that its power transcends the merely physiological and enters the realm of high body magic. The precise location of Neiguan is crucial to unlocking its full potential and accessing its vibrational frequency. It is located 2 kun, traditional measurements equivalent to the width of 2 thumbs, above the transverse crease of the wrist, centered exactly between the 2 major tendons visible when flexing the hand, the palmaris longus and palmaris cribriformis. However, the activation ritual demands more than mere anatomical accuracy. It requires the unwavering focus of the Jing Shen, essence and spirit. When applying pressure, do so with the firmness of an irrevocable decree, with the profound intention that the internal chaos must cease, and that communication between the heart and stomach must be restored, allowing energy to flow unobstructed. The pressure should be sustained, deep, but not causing sharp pain, as if turning a rusty key in an ancient lock that guards the treasure of your serenity and health. Feel how the energy, that turbulent river of thoughts and emotions, begins to be tamed under conscious touch. This point is a reminder that we hold the medicine in our own hands, literally, the capacity for self-healing encoded in our body's map. We have understood its meaning, deciphered its alchemical function and its mystical history. Now, for the inner key to turn and the door to fully open to the healing of your 100 afflictions, we must confront the first and greatest enemy that the guardian of the inner gate is programmed to repel, the fear of stillness itself. The pericardium, or Xin Bao Luo, is not simply a physical covering of the heart in the Western biological sense. It is the manifestation of an energetic and political structure of the highest importance within the human microcosm, according to traditional Chinese medicine. Philosophically, the heart, Qin, is the emperor, the sovereign, the abode of Shen, the spirit that guarantees consciousness, wisdom, and connection to the Tao. An emperor cannot be disturbed by the daily skirmishes of mortal life without jeopardizing the stability of the entire realm, the body. Therefore, the pericardium assumes the crucial role of the great guardian or prime minister, the protective layer whose unique and non-negotiable function is to absorb the impact of all internal and external pathogens before they reach the imperial sanctuary. This meridian, associated with the ministerial fire element, is the emotional buffer, the filter that tempers the intensity of trauma, grief, shock, and excessive joy, which in excess dissipates Shen. When we activate Ne Guan, P6, we are not merely treating nausea, we are reinforcing the wall of the Forbidden City, ensuring that the Shen can rule with serenity, free from the chaos that inevitably tries to infiltrate from the confines of worldly experience. Ancient wisdom, encoded in texts outlawed for their potency, states that whoever masters the pericardium masters the flow of consciousness and emotional stability, making this guardian not a passive servant, but a strategic general. Understanding the function of the pericardium is firmly rooted in the Huangdi Neijing, the Yellow Emperor's inner canon, which establishes the division of responsibilities among the 12 officials, organs. While the heart is the sovereign, the pericardium is formally classified as the minister who precedes the heart, responsible for defense and circulation, the diffusion of sovereign fire. This defense is not merely a physical barrier, it is an energy management system that works in close coordination with the Sanjiao triple burner, which regulates the flow of water and fire, maintaining internal temperature and fluid balance in the 3 centers of the body. Together, the pericardium and the triple burner form the ministerial fire pair, an alliance that controls the interface between the internal and external worlds. Historically, pericardium failure was synonymous with nervous and psychic collapse, as it allowed false fire or turbid phlegm, manifestations of obsession and neurosis, to ascend directly to the heart, obscuring the Shen. Point P6, Ne Guan, inner barrier, has been considered since time immemorial as the emergency mechanism to dispel this mental fog, restoring clarity through the controlled opening of the airways and the pacification of the solar plexus, the center of visceral responses to fear. The need for such a formidable guardian arises from the Emperor's heart's inherent vulnerability to the 7 emotions: anger, joy, worry, brooding, grief, fear, shock. Taoism emphasizes that true health is achieved by maintaining inner peace, but life inevitably brings shocks that shake the center. If an extreme emotion, such as sudden trauma, directly impacts the heart without the intervention of the pericardium, an immediate and violent stagnation of qi and blood occurs in the chest, manifesting as pain, tightness, palpitations, and critically, the disruption of the downward flow of qi from the stomach. Herein lies the intrinsic connection of P6 with the control of nausea and vomiting. By pacifying the guardian, we repair the gate that separates the fire of the heart from the earth of the stomach, ensuring that the fire does not spread chaotically downward nor the earth rise up. It is an act of high internal diplomacy. By calming the guardian, internal hypervigilance, which is often the underlying cause of chronic anxiety, is reduced, allowing energy to circulate freely and information to flow without being automatically interpreted as a life-threatening threat. From an inner alchemy perspective, the pericardium is the training ground where the adept learns to differentiate between real threat and distorted perception. Its role as a filter is crucial for achieving the state of Wu Wei, effortless action. An overactive guardian, fatigued by years of unresolved trauma, generates such a dense emotional shell that it prevents not only the entry of pain, but also the expression of genuine feeling and deep connection. This rigidity of the pericardium translates into the person's inability to be vulnerable or flexible in the face of change. The conscious activation of Neiguan acts as a release of the tension accumulated in the Xinbao Luo, dissolving the knots of resentment and fear that have solidified in the protective membrane. Essentially, we remind the Guardian that its role is not paralysis, but rather fluid and conscious circulation. The profound teaching of the Tao urges us to keep the center immovable, the calm emperor, while the periphery, the pericardium, moves with the world. P6 is the master tool to achieve this dynamic balance, allowing the energy of love, associated with the heart, to express itself without the risk of being annihilated by the forces of external imbalance, making us permeable to life without being vulnerable to chaos. The historical and philosophical origins of P6, therefore, elevate its manipulation from a simple symptomatic therapy to a profound ritual of personal sovereignty. By focusing on the Guardian, we are addressing the root cause of the disorder, excessive defensiveness and the disconnection between the emotional and digestive centers. The pericardium is the channel through which the emperor exerts its influence over the rest of the kingdom, especially the stomach, the granary, which is responsible for assimilating both physical nourishment and sensory and emotional impressions. If the Guardian is blocked or panicked, the stomach cannot fulfill its function of descending and assimilating, generating the ascent of rebellious qi, which manifests as nausea, reflux, and the perennial knot of anxiety in the pit of the stomach. Understanding this imperial and ministerial connection allows us to transcend the superficial view of the symptom and penetrate the architecture of the being. The Neiguan is the master key that balances fire and earth, ensuring that the Shen can illuminate the digestive and emotional pathways. Now, we must apply this historical knowledge to decipher how this Guardian dysregulation translates into the modern afflictions we try to alleviate. Understanding dysfunction as the Emperor's cry for peace. The location of PC6, Neiguan, is not an anatomical coincidence, but a coded power point, a sacred coordinate on the map of our inner geography that requires precision to be revealed. The instruction to place it 3 fingers, or 3 proximal cunes, the body's intrinsic energetic measure, from the transverse crease of the wrist marks the exact threshold where the Guardian's energy becomes accessible to conscious touch. This crease is not merely a flexion joint, but the Rubicon between the domain of action, the hand, the exterior, and the path to the emotional center, the forearm, the interior. The point is hidden in the precise cleft between the 2 major tendons, generally the palmaris longus and the flexor carpi ulnaris, which act as structural guardians of the channel. Its location in this narrow valley, between muscular and bony hardness, symbolizes the need to penetrate the superficial armor to access the sentinel. By finding this point, we are, in fact, opening a portal of direct communication with the flow of the pericardium, which is the subtlest layer of the blood and nerve circulation linked to the heart. Activating Neiguan does not tolerate superficiality. It requires pressure deep enough to touch the qi flowing in the interstitium, yet applied with such reverence that the Guardian does not interpret the contact as a new threat. This precision in location honors the sacred geometry of the body, recognizing that the deepest truth often resides in the hidden fissures of our defensive structure, teaching us that the path to inner sovereignty demands meticulous accuracy. Activation through sustained pressure, the ancient art of tuina or acupressure, transcends the mere application of force to become a sophisticated alchemical act of qi induction. When the pericardium is in a state of heightened panic, qi rebels, rising chaotically in the form of nausea, acid reflux, chest tightness, and the perennial knot of anxiety in the epigastrium. By applying deliberate and firm pressure to the Neiguan, we are sending a direct and unambiguous message to the triple burner Sanjiao network, the Guardian's energy distribution system. instructing it to restore order and cease excessive defense. This technique essentially seeks to re-establish the downward flow of qi from the stomach, allowing the ministerial organ to fulfill its function of assimilation without rejection and the heart to feel safe enough to open up. It is crucial that the pressure be slow, rhythmic, and synchronized with conscious breathing. This is not a vigorous, dispersing application intended to expel the pathology, but rather a regulating and pacifying gesture that induces a vibratory resonance. The will, concentrated on the point of contact, acts like an invisible needle, penetrating the layer of physical defense to restore the harmonious connection between the emotional, fire, and visceral, earth realms. Its effectiveness lies in consistency, maintaining the pressure until the arrival of the qi is perceived. A dull warmth, a slight pulsation indicating that the channel has responded to the internal command. The measurement of 3 kuns that defines the exact location of PC6 is not an arbitrary metric convention, but a profound cosmological statement embedded in the human body. The number 3, San, is the pillar of Eastern metaphysics, representing the fundamental triad of heaven, man, and earth, San Kai, and within our being, the manifestation of the 3 treasures, Jing, essence, Qi, energy, and Shen, spirit. By activating Nei Guan at this precise distance from the wrist crease, we are touching a meeting point where the energy of the pericardium interacts and harmonizes with these 3 essential layers of inner existence, functioning as a triune axis of balance. Furthermore, this position underscores the functional relationship with the triple burner, the administrator of the 3 body sectors, upper, middle, and lower. Nei Guan acts as the central regulator, calibrating the temperature and flow of water and fire between these 3 compartments, ensuring that the upper compartment doesn't overheat due to panic, anxiety, and that the middle compartment, digestion, isn't flooded by stagnation. Pressure applied to this trinity point not only calms the immediate visceral reaction, but also profoundly realigns the channels of communication between spirit, vitality, and matter, reminding us that the imbalance manifested in the stomach is merely the visible symptom of an energetic misalignment that spans the entire spectrum of our consciousness. For the seeker, the activation of Nei Guan must be elevated from a mechanical technique to a conscious ritual of inner alchemy. Mere physical pressure is insufficient without the infusion of focused intention. This act transforms into active meditation, a moment of profound immersion where the mind concentrates on the exact point of contact and the process of induction. The ritual requires that the pressure be sustained until the release of tension is perceived, the moment when the guardian, having received the message of calm, allows the rebellious qi to be gently guided downward, returning to its source. It is the precise instant to hear the voice of the heart without the interference of defensive noise. The hand applying the pressure acts as a quantum bridge between the conscious will of the Shen and the body's automatic response. This ritualized commitment grants us active sovereignty over our inner state. We are not passively waiting for the external world to cease its attack, but rather generating calm from an immutable internal point of control. The mental stillness maintained during activation allows the spirit to descend and assess the situation without the cloak of panic, transforming a simple somatic discomfort into a point of restorative power and profound self-mastery. Mastering the location and activation of the Nei Guan is, ultimately, mastering the technique of intelligent self-protection. The guardian is trained through this contact to discern between the present threat and the traumatic resonance of the past, learning to lower their guard when the mind has taken control. When the pressure is released, the body does not revert to a state of hysterical alarm, but to a state of calm alertness, knowing that it possesses the key to close the door to internal chaos at will. We have penetrated the armor of the pericardium to commune with its essence, using the geometric precision of the 3 Qs as our secret access code. This activation has temporarily anchored us to the central axis of being, ensuring that energy flows without obstruction or rebellion. The calm obtained through external pressure is the first step of initiation. But if the Nei Guan is the gateway to the inner self, what happens when we cross that threshold and directly confront the Emperor we have so vehemently protected? What is the true cost of that constant vigilance? And how does the pericardium reveal itself when its age-old battle finally ceases? Nei Guan reveals itself as the great somatic regulator, a vault where the disturbed Shen seeks refuge and finds lost homeostasis. Palpitations, that frantic pounding that disrupts the stillness of being, are nothing more than the physical echo of the Emperor, heart, under constant emotional siege. When anxiety rises like a hot, uncontrollable tide, the pericardium, our faithful guardian of the inner flame, absorbs the initial impact of trauma and chronic stress. P6 intervenes masterfully not through energetic repression, but by redirecting the flow of qi so that the excessive heat generated by heart fire or hypervigilance is harmoniously dispersed through its coupling with the triple burner. By applying meditative pressure to this point, we are sending a silent and inescapable directive to the deep energy matrix. The center is secure, the door to panic is closed. This allows the heart rhythm, freed from the tyranny of the sympathetic nervous system, to normalize, not through chemical sedation, but through the restoration of the internal hierarchy and the sovereignty of the Jing. It is an act of profound self-confidence, where consciousness recognizes that existential danger is no longer imminent, allowing the pericardium to release the tension accumulated in its fascia, vessels, and tendons. Peace thus radiates from the center of the chest to the periphery of the body, ensuring that the pulse is a metronome of life, not a war drum. This stabilized somatic resonance is the first evidence that inner alchemy has begun its work of restructuring emotional chaos into physical order. The mastery of Nei Guan in managing nausea and vomiting leads us to an understanding of the stomach rebellion, a central concept in the physiological cosmology of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM. According to ancient canons, the natural function of stomach, qi, is to descend, receiving and transporting nutrients and energy downward for assimilation. When internal factors, such as extreme emotion, disordered diet, or even the turbulent energy of external movement like seasickness, force this qi to ascend violently and unnaturally, the result is a reversal of the flow, manifesting as nausea or vomiting. Nei Guan, being the luo point of connection to the pericardium and having a crucial influence on the central stem and diaphragm, acts as a powerful anchor for the digestive axis. Precise pressure at P6 is interpreted as an inescapable command to return to the correct flow, to stabilize the center, and to subdue the rebellion of the middle axis. It is for this mystical and physiological reason that this point was revered by ancient navigators to quell seasickness, that violent dissociation between the body and the horizon, and by wise matrons to soothe the disturbances of the womb during pregnancy, the ultimate expression of physiological transformation. Its influence penetrates deeply into the regulation of the qi of the governing vessel and its interaction with the lower hollow organs, forging the imposed stillness upon the internal vortex. The relief from dizziness and vertigo that Nei Guan provides is a direct manifestation of its ability to anchor wandering yang and dispel sensory fog. The sensation of spinning, of total imbalance in the perceptible world, often arises when internal wind or liver fire, both manifestations of excessive and uncontrolled yang, rises unchecked, disturbing the head palace and the sensory orifices. The pericardium, by controlling the blood and protecting the heart, the residence of Shen, directly influences the quality of yin that must retain and nourish yang instead. P6 functions in this scenario as a powerful alchemical lightning rod, deflecting the excess rising energy down to earth, thus restoring clarity of the senses. It is the act of readjusting the internal compass that has been thrown out of calibration by emotional turmoil or sensory overexposure. By stabilizing the pericardium channel, we ensure that the Jing, essence, and Shen, spirit, remain united in their abode, preventing the mind from dissociating from the body due to speed, confusion, or illness. It is the restoration of the immutable vertical axis of being, where the earth feels solid beneath the feet and heaven remains calm above the head, eliminating the illusion that the cosmos spins without control or direction. The struggle against insomnia is, in essence, the Shen's battle to find rest and the consciousness's inability to surrender to the nourishing darkness. In esoteric philosophy, sleep is not merely rest. It is the spirit's return to the nest of the heart, where it feeds on the shu, blood, during the night for its regeneration. When the Shen remains restless, whether from residual heat, excessive worry, yai, or the neurotic hypervigilance of the pericardium, which refuses to relinquish its guard, it cannot anchor itself, and perpetual wakefulness manifests. Neiguan acts here as a nighttime pacifier of immense efficacy. By calming the heart fire and smoothing the flow of qi in the channel, it facilitates the circulation of blood and allows the Shen to descend from its throne of alertness and merge with the depths of yin. It is the key that unlocks the door for the guardian to temporarily cease its vigilance, ensuring that the body can enter the phase of deep regeneration, which is crucial for longevity and mental clarity. Improved sleep is not a mere physiological side effect, but the ultimate proof that harmony between the higher axis and the middle axis has been restored, allowing consciousness to withdraw from the periphery of the world and immerse itself in the regenerative depths of true sleep, a small rehearsal for the great stillness. We have unveiled the somatic effects of Neiguan, an ordered pulse, a still center, clear vision, and deep sleep. These physical benefits, though tangible and profoundly restorative, are merely the surface reflections of an inner work that reaches the very root of existence. The regulation of the pulse is not only rhythmic, but a return to the essential harmony of being. The dissipation of nausea is the cessation of resistance to what must be digested, both physically and symbolically. The body is the canvas on which the state of the spirit is painted, and each alleviated symptom is an energetic lie that dissolves. If the guardian protects the heart from these invasions, freeing the body from its symptomatic chains, and restoring the natural flow of qi and blood, what then is the deeper truth that this point conceals about our capacity for influence? If we have managed to calm the surface of the pond, to observe the undistorted reflection, what revelations await in the deep waters of the pericardium when we transcend its mere protective function? We will now delve into the realm of the intangible, the psychic dimension, where Neiguan transforms from a physical anchor point into a tool for mental liberation. How does the guardian use its authority to directly influence the mind and, by extension, destiny? Understand this. The true function of the heart guardian is not simply to repel the external shadow, but to ensure that the inner cosmos resonates in harmony with manifest destiny. The inner barrier point is the seal that harmonizes mind and matter, the portal that allows you to steer your life through the storms of being. This wisdom is the key that unlocks the chamber of personal authority, transforming reaction into conscious creation. And the illumination we share here is the map to your own spiritual sovereignty. If your ability to influence reality is sealed in the pericardium, and the key resides in the domain of stillness, are you willing to pay the price of sovereignty to unleash the fullness of your power? May this knowledge not be a solitary lamp, but a shared sun. Spread this revelation as an act of cosmic service, illuminating the path for those still walking in the fog. To become a permanent guardian of this wisdom and not miss the next transmission of the codes of existence, activate the bell and subscribe to this channel now. The sacred labyrinth of self-knowledge allows no long pauses. The next stage of your journey awaits, revealing its secrets. Click on the video that appears on your screen and continue the journey.